My name is Anthony, but I even go by my tag now that I'm identifying as non-binary, but my name is Ravn. I play Super Smash Bros. Melee and Project Plus. In both of them, I play Pikachu. My friend played me in Smash 4 just at a more competitive level, and he was beating me, but nothing crazy. And he told me how his friends were super good and that they actually went to tournaments every week and everything. So I decided, okay, I want to go. And I learned about competitive Smash, and from that moment, he introduced me to the Smash Bros. Documentary. I fell in love with it, just seeing competitive Melee at its incredible speeds. I always wanted to play it, but you know, Slippy didn't come out back then, so I couldn't guarantee that I'd have someone to play with. It was super hard to, you know, get a GameCube and all that. And as I was retiring from the Army, I look up online some Melee clips, and I see some guys playing online Melee with like people randomly. And I'm like, how are you doing that? And I was introduced to Slippy. From that moment, I just started playing Melee all the time, making content about it. I say it all the time that there are two main different types of Smash players. One that purely love the concept of what Smash is, the fundamentals, what you can do, the tech skill, the conditioning and adaptability. And while all that's important to everyone, there are some people who make that their important things. And then the other side of Smash are people like me who want to be there in front of a CRT, hanging out in person, no online stuff. We're here together playing this game, making memories, like going to a camp in the woods, playing video games. And that community of being like together in person is what drove me to love it. And in that time, seeing people support each other and cheer on each other and be so proud of one another. The first time I saw it at my first Melee event, which was the tournament, I knew that I was never gonna stop playing. So my tag's old name, if you've ever seen it in front of like some cars where the RPM is, it'll say X1000. I don't know why, but when I first got into video games, I got my Xbox and I had to come up with a gamer tag, and my brain put X1000, didn't work, so I added 46, which is my lucky numbers, and it was good enough. By the way, that's not how you should say it, but I called myself X1046. And there was a team called X-Pro Gaming when I was back into competitive Call of Duty, and I really wanted to join them as a competitor. And the owner, Boomerful, loved me, but he insisted that he would not pick me up under the name X1046. So he insisted I get a new name. And one day I was trying to come up with something. I had my friend in class, we were in math class, and a bird had hit the glass window. Everyone walked towards it except for me and my friend. We were still sitting down. She goes, "Is it a raven?" And somebody was like, "It's not even, it's white. Are you?" I think it was a pigeon. It was so funny. But when I heard it, I kind of just looked at my friend and I said, "What about Raven?" And he looked at me and said, "It suits you." And from that point, it just felt right. So I stuck with RAVEN for a very long time. And having that kind of like coming out with being non-binary and everything, and I wanted to identify myself a little more special in my content. I always say the phrase that Anthony Gonzalez is a basic name. So I always wanted to be special. I always wanted to be that one Anthony you knew. So I had to make a change from just normal Ravn. And even though it may look stupid to others, my full tag now is capital RAVN. No E, but it is still enunciated the same. So even as a kid, I've always loved Pikachu. I've always loved him, little guy. But as a child, I had a copy of Pokemon Red, and it got lost or stolen, I don't remember. But I remember crying about it to my mom like crazy, because we didn't really have a lot of money or games or nothing, but my dad got me that Game Boy and that game, and I loved it. And my mom didn't spend a penny on nothing when we grew up, but she went out and, I don't know, I assume just bought Pokemon Yellow. And I started playing it, I lost my Charizard, I was all sad, and I got this little fat rat behind me, following me around now. And I hated it. And you could talk to him and he was so mad at you at first, but as you beat the game and you beat the Elite Four, Pikachu grows to love you. And I was under the weirdest, stupid impersonation. This is dumb little Ravn talking. When Professor Oak tells you your Pikachu doesn't like to be in its ball, I thought he was talking to me. I didn't know that that was a program in Pokemon Yellow, that anybody who played Pokemon Yellow would have that exact same thing happen. I thought I was deeply special, that it happened to Ravn, that my Pikachu didn't want to be in his ball. And it made sense to me because in Pokemon Red, Charizard didn't follow me in my out of his ball, he stayed in. So it kind of blew my mind. And you know, Ash in Pokemon, his Pikachu didn't like to stay in his ball. Red also had his Pikachu who didn't like to be in his ball. So it made me feel seen. It made me feel like I was destined to be this Pokemon master. And as I grew older, I realized, okay, everybody has the same thing with Pokemon Yellow, but I know he's the mascot of Pokemon, so it's a little basic, but he's my buddy. He's my little special guy, and I've always felt like he was by my side, even in real life. And I know maybe not everyone has that connection with their character, but I love Pikachu. So I decided that no matter what, no matter how good, no matter how bad, I would play him in all smashes. And once I saw Axe win Summit with the Pikachu, I knew that there was no excuse to ever doubt it. Pikachu is my buddy, and he always will be. I'm a huge fan of the Jak and Daxter series. I'm actually learning to speedrun it because it's actually my favorite game series of all time. But on top of it, I have a few friends who are actually Tetris Grandmasters. And because of it, they've shown me the beauty of it, and it's the most rewarding single player game in the world. I like a lot of games. I feel that a lot of people aren't really gamers, I guess, because they'll limit themselves to one or two things. I even had the CEO of a team I was on. He only really knew about Halo, but he called himself a gamer. But it was like he didn't know Mario Kart music. He didn't recognize like Marvel vs. Capcom. And I realized I love video games. I've played them my whole life. I grew up with my dad when I was in my teen years. Actually, like we would play Soul Calibur, we'd play Street Fighter, we'd play Mortal Kombat, we'd play Marvel vs. Capcom. We'd play everything together at that level. I've always just loved fighting games as a whole. And now that I'm actually like getting good at Melee, or getting good at P+ and Melee, I've realized that I do love fighting games. The idea of neutral, the idea of adapting, the idea of conditioning your opponent, all of it is so amazing to me. So I'm getting more into Guilty Gear Strive. I'm excited to play Street Fighter 6 when it comes out, but I love a lot of games. But I'd have to say I'm definitely a fighting game lover. Turns out I'm actually color deficient. The Army showed me that, and that's actually why I lost my job as a radio equipment repair and I got stuck with military police officer. So I can't really see colors the same as others. So like sometimes I'll tell people that that's green and they're like, no, it's not, it's blue. I'm like, what? But some of the colors I can see really well. I use a Trintanopia filter to like compensate for the problems I see, but I really like blue, yellow, and pink. Those are like my three colors. I'd have to say blue is my favorite though. The location never really mattered to me because what I want to do is create content more than anything. So I feel like no matter where I am in this world, it doesn't really matter as long as I have access to a decent home and comfortability and internet. I thought that for a while, but as I've lived in Greeley for like 2 years now, it sucks every time I want to go do anything. I have to drive an hour and a half just to do the most basic things. If I want to go to a tournament, it's 3-hour drives. I can't stand it. Honestly, I don't know where's the perfect place for it. I think ultimately there's a lot of places I would like to live. If I have to put one, like an actual answer, I don't have any idea, but I've always wanted to visit Japan. My friends and I are actually planning on taking a trip there. So if it could be anybody in this world, it'd have to be the man who actually inspired me to get into content creation myself, FaZe Jev. And part of why I actually have this FaZe Clan tattoo is just him. He inspired me to never give up on doing what made me happy and making people laugh. He was there when I needed it back in like middle and high school where I needed something to brighten my day. And I was just so hateful and resentful. He's the reason I'm still doing it today. He's complimented me in my work many times and it's brightened my day so much to a point where I decided that's all I wanted to do. So if I could work with a man who actually inspires me to do what I'm doing today, that would be the greatest collab of my life. Ooh, sushi. Everyone likes to think sushi is raw fish. It's not. It's a type of rice. It's how you cook rice. That's all it is. So you can make it into a million different things. Sushi is amazing. I love sushi so much.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I got
Awesome.
plenty of there. That was good.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruno.